Okay, we're going to start the Board of Commissioners meeting. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call.
Commissioner Greatop.
Here.
Commissioner Dunn.
Here.
Commissioner Rushing.
Here.
Commissioner Heidemann. Absent. Commissioner Tamian. Absent. Commissioner McConnell.
Here.
Commissioner Bone.
Here.
We have a quorum.
Item 3, additions, deletions, changes to the agenda.
Mr. Chairman, at this time, I would move that under additions and deletions, A, county representative appointment be marked as item 11X. 3B becomes Y, and 3C becomes Z.
Support. Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
A motion to approval of the agenda.
So moved.
Support. All in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed. Item 5, minutes of previous meetings, items A and B.
At this time, Mr. Chairman, I move to approve the file, or approve and file the minutes of 9/15/16 commission meeting and 10/6/16 standing committee meetings.
Support. Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed. Item 6, no proclamations. Item 7, the consent agenda, items A through I.
I would move that we approve items 7A through I on the consent agenda item.
Support.
Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Those
Mr. Chairman,
opposed.
I don't think the microphones are on, if that matters or not.
Yeah, they're on.
Hello.
Okay.
My lights are not working then.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay.
Reports of standing and special committees. Commissioner Greatop?
No, I really don't, other than just to make a comment that after 3 years of working and wrangling and doing all sorts of things, we are finally getting the Marine City Hotel, known as the Inn on Water Street project, advancing fully. We will have a groundbreaking ceremony on the 25th on a Tuesday at noon, and it looks like their finances have all come together. I believe that what we thought was a big mix in the beginning has now come to a solution that has just kind of gelled together, and it's beginning to move forward now. So a $4 million project going into Marine City is just going to be a tremendous boost to that town as well as this community. And it's going to do a lot for some international trade back and forth, because one of the ideas of that hotel was to market the Canadian market. The Canadians come over here, about the way you might go to Stratford for a play and spend the night. They will come over to a play at either one of our theaters in Marine City, spend the night, and then return home. They don't want to come over here, have a couple of cocktails, and drive home. If you think we're tough over here, they're even tougher in Canada with that stuff. So I believe it's going to be awesome. And I give credit to everybody involved in that thing. There was a time when I think everybody threw up their hands except me. I said, wait a minute, we can't do this yet. And we had one more meeting, and from that point on, it started moving again. So, Jeff, thanks for your support, administrations, all the commissioners that have talked about it. Real happy to see this come to fruition. Sorry to take so long, but I feel good about
Very
it.
good. No, great work there. Commissioner Rushing?
Just something real quick. We've been working on a good partnership with the county, with Metro Planning. Riley Township, this last Monday night, we finished our master plan update, and it will be forwarded to the county, and then we'll be sending it to our neighboring communities. But county did an excellent job getting it together, and we have one more section but we finished ours, and the county will be adding it and then forward it out. So.
Okay, Commissioner Dunn?
Nothing in it.
Nothing.
I'm going to take a pass. We're going to go into citizens wishing to address the board. Iris Parlangelo, thank you. 10759 Huntington Woods. If you can go right up there and talk, we give you 3 minutes to do your thing.
Sorry, you got a time, because Howard's not here.
First, thank you for giving me the opportunity to speak to you tonight. One thing I don't do for the Michigan Pet Fund Alliance is usually speak to people. So with your permission, I'm going to just imagine we're in my living room eating pizza, maybe having a beer or something like that. It'll help me get over my nervousness. I'm from the Michigan Pet Fund Alliance. I'm on the board. Our mission is to end the killing of healthy, treatable animals in Michigan shelters. We had a big conference last October, this last month as a matter of fact, with over 300 people in attendance. We had over 30 speakers. We had 12 sponsors. Excuse me. And we had 26 vendors. Animal welfare experts from all over the world came to hear the most up-to-date information on animal welfare. The speaker after me, Courtney, will be giving you a green bag from that conference. In that green bag, let me get one out so you can see it, is something else the Michigan Pet Fund Alliance does. This is an annual SAVE report. Every year, every Michigan shelter is required to submit statistics to the Michigan Department of Agriculture, and these statistics consist of cats and dogs that are taken into the shelter and the disposition of the cats and dogs. Either they're transferred out, they're adopted, they're returned to owner. Excuse me. Every year what we do is take these statistics, put them into a spreadsheet, do a formula on them, and try to figure out, or we do figure out, what the save rate is for each shelter. Take a look at it when you get it. It's very, very informative. Let me tell you right now that the save rate for St. Clair County was 50.32%. What that means is that over 1,000 animals were put to death in the shelter last year. Since the Michigan Pet Fund began, probably less than a decade ago, there were 118,000 animals put to death in Michigan shelters. At our last conference, when we did the last 2015 statistics, we were down to 24,000. That's quite an improvement. We would really like to think that the Pet Fund had something to do with that by bringing forth education on best practices to shelters and rescues in Michigan. What I'm really here to do tonight is to offer you the assistance of the Michigan Pet Fund in any way possible to improve your save rate. Some of the things we're doing now, our board chair just met with the executive in Bay County who has decided, or the whole county has decided, that they would like to become a no-kill shelter. We're also meeting regularly with Michigan Humane Society. We have met and helped, I hope, Genesee County, Lapeer County, Macomb County, and various other shelters and rescues throughout the state. What we'd like to do is to assist you in any way possible on any timeline that you would like to present to us. It's our intentions to bring best practices to St. Clair County if we can, and to save all of the animals in your county that we can. Thank you.
Next up, and actually that document, and we usually don't respond, but I think I got it from you this summer, did I not? You were at our board meeting, yeah, back in July. See, I got a good memory, you passed them out. Okay. Next up, Courtney Pratt Saunders, 102 Guthrie Avenue, Madison Heights, Animal Welfare and Shelter.
Thank you. Good evening. Courtney Pratt Sanders. I'm a resident of Oakland County. However, I'm here tonight in a professional capacity. I'm a spokesperson, board trustee for Michigan's Political Action Committee for Animals. We are a statewide bipartisan political action committee that works with communities to improve animal welfare ordinances, resolutions, and to help shelters raise their save rate or their live release rate. And this is the second time I've been before you. I came to your July meeting that was outdoors and the beautiful fresh air, and actually invited you and anyone in the administration of St. Clair County government or law enforcement to attend the conference that Iris was just speaking of that took place in September. St. Clair County is the only county that did not send anyone to the conference out of the Southeast Michigan area. We had law enforcement and attendees from every county but. So we're reaching out to you. We're looking to you to lead this county and want to improve the numbers. So the report that you received in August from our county captains here, those were your 2014 numbers. So what you're going to receive tonight are now your 2015 numbers. And nothing has changed very much. We have reached out to shelter director, to the sheriff's department, offering our services and asking for meetings. It's been kind of a back and forth without a whole lot of improvement for many years now. We represent the St. Clair County voting block, so these are residents of the county who, this is their passion. They're very concerned about what's taking place at the county shelter. They want it to improve. This is where their pets might end up should they ever get out or get lost somehow, and so their care and treatment there is very important to them. And it's a public safety issue as well as a community issue. There are lots of programs that the county could put in place to help get their numbers up. A lot of those are no-cost programs, low-cost programs, and some of them are actually revenue-generating programs. So again, we reach out to you and implore you to please meet with us, meet with the Michigan Pet Fund. We've worked with dozens and dozens of municipalities throughout the state to get those numbers up, and we'd love to do the same for St. Clair. Thank you.
Can I ask one question quick? Whose phone number's on this card here? Is this, we've got the card, is that the number where you would be reached at the 248-457?
Correct, and then Iris can also give you a number for the Michigan Pet Fund if you'd like, or I could be your one point of contact because we do work very closely with the Pet Fund in many communities.
What is your name again?
Courtney Pratt Sanders.
Spell the last name?
P-R-O-T as in Tom, Z as in zebra, hyphen Sanders, S-A-N-D-E-R-S. Thanks.
Okay, thank you. Okay, we're going to move on here. No unfinished business. We're going to go into new business. If you guys are hanging around and you haven't been to our meeting before, you'll see that we go through a lot of this information fairly quick because our structure, we have a committee structure that we talk about all these issues, then we pass them on to the full board. So if you see some things that are being approved and it seems like we're going through them fairly quick, it's because we've already have been before us and we've passed them on. So just a little housekeeping detail. Item 11A, the approval of the county disbursements.
This time I'd like to move to approve the county disbursements for September 2016 in the amount of $40,010,808.33.
Support.
Discussion. Roll call.
Commissioner McConnell.
Yes.
Commissioner Tamian is absent. Commissioner Heidemann is absent. Commissioner Rushing.
Yes.
Commissioner Dunn.
Yes.
Commissioner Graytop.
Yes.
Chairperson Bo.
Yes.
Motion carried.
Item B, the Blue Water Convention Center monthly report for 2016. Kim, where are you going to go?
Yep.
Or
You'll
I'm so-
see,
Oh, okay, I'm sorry.
passed out at your place tonight, there is a monthly business report that we plan on sharing with the board each month that SMG will be presenting, highlighting current month events and current month business, as well as upcoming events and booked business in the future. But Kim can explain more of the report to you.
The first area of the report is a booking pace, what we call a booking pace. And basically, it's just telling you what we've got contracted, what's on the books, what is in proposal stage, and then what is tentative, which means we've sent clients, customers, contracts, and we're waiting for them to come back. We also show in the middle section here the current month's business. Here you'll see the contracts that were signed for future business, could be in 2019, which we just signed a convention for 2019, as well as contracts that were sent out, We've had 6 site visits, tours of our building. Event days is occupied days in our building. Proposals that were sent out by SMG staff at the Blue Water Convention Center, 22. That number covers meetings, weddings, banquets, conventions, conferences, things like that. Under that, you'll see proposals that were sent out by the CVB, which were 3, and that was for conferences and conventions that involve sleeping rooms. Next to that, you'll see customer service surveys that we send out. Every customer gets a survey after the event. It is emailed to them, and they send it back in. We track that. We also have a comparison of events, numbers of events that we did last year to this year, as well as attendance in our building. We had a wonderful tattoo expo in September, and it generated a ton of Facebook shares and likes. You'll see here in one of the columns here where we generated 1,796,149. Those are the times that people visited, shared, read, passed it on to somebody. So that community is very, very good with contacts as well. We've had, we track our likes on our page, website, the data here for website shares, visits. We've also got a lost business report. We do track that, and we also track the reasons for why the business was lost or not contracted. You'll see the largest section, 42%, is other. Those reasons could be, for example, decided to have a backyard wedding instead. One of the reasons was they canceled the wedding. Market was too small. Illness. One event, the TOPS convention, was canceled due to family illness. There was a wake that was planned that was put into the restaurant. So there's a lot of different types of reasons for the lost business, other than just food, rental, things like that. And upcoming events. In October, we have 16 events booked this month. Public events coming up in October. We just had Petapalooza, which was a pet expo. We had a lot of pets adopted at that event. It was really a very nice community event. We also have a holiday arts and crafts show. These 2 events were self-promoted by SMG. We want to try and attract as many different types of events as possible. And until we can get those customers coming in to book the events, we want to still be able to provide that entertainment to the community. So we self-promoted those events. We have a gun and knife show coming up in November. Shipshawana on the Road is coming. That's a huge craft show, which is very well attended. 170 vendors will be at that show. So our building will be jam-packed with vendor booths. And then, of course, Festival of the Trees coming up in December. Any questions?
Bill?
Kim, on the pie chart on the back page, the lost business, 4 of those items all have to do with cost.
Yes.
Does that make us want to back up and look at what we are charging for our facility? Are we losing 18, 16, 27, and 11% to cost because we are too high? Are we out of the market with our prices?
We are not out of the market with our prices. We are working with our food provider to bring some of the prices down, also offer different types of services so that we can have a lower cost for, like, say, a not-for-profit group. So we are working to get that under control. And for example, for lodging, it really depends on the season for that as well. So we are right in line with our size of community in our pricing.
I'd be inclined to think you'd want to do that maybe like a salesman at the car dealership where you walk in and I've only got this much money.
Right.
You put him in the
Yep.
car that he can fit in, and you want to do the same thing, I would assume. You don't want him
Yield
to get away.
management, yes, absolutely. And we also, offer incentives on our side, regarding food and beverage, depending on how much you spend in food and beverage, could affect possibly the amount of room rental that you'll pay. So we do work very closely with that.
David?
Yeah, just, might be a Matt Williams thing here, but a correction on the pie chart. Those are actual counts, that is not percentages.
Thank you.
So that would be, but on the front one, on the graph, on the events, I'm looking at September of 2015, 2016, and it's showing that we had more in 2015, and I'm looking it up above, and apparently I'm thinking 2016 should be better, but the graph underneath is showing less for 2016. Bar graph?
Right, for September?
Yes.
Is that what you're speaking of?
Right, because the blue's representing 2015, and that's showing larger than September of 2016, but your information
More people
above it.
attended this year than they
I'm
did
sorry.
last year.
What's that?
More people attended in 16 than
Yeah,
they did.
the attendance comes out right, but the events,
The
Less
the number
events.
of,
Less
I
events,
was
more
just thinking the
people.
bar graph was off.
right.
That's all.
Kim,
Bill.
on that first page near the top, contract signed, contract sent, and proposals. The difference between contract sent and proposals?
Proposals are an RFP when a association or a convention wants you to price out their event. We will send them the information. A contract sent means they are ready. We've negotiated pricing, we're ready to create the contract, and we've sent it to you waiting for your approval.
Do you lose contracts sent, or are they pretty much?
When they're at that point, we close a large majority of the contracts. When they're ready for us to send a contract, it means they've made up their mind. Proposals are another subject.
Something just recently, and I sit on the CVB also as a county representative, the CVB just recently put in a traction fund, component, which didn't have it before, because one of the things that, the lost business piece, everybody looks at that. I mean, and when you track lost business, there's just some business you couldn't get. And I think great analogy, Bill, we've talked about your Lions Club deal, unless you give it away, are you getting it, right? So I mean, there are certain events, and really some of the thresholds over there is they look at room nights. And really the CVB is funded by heads and beds, so they have a taxing mechanism in place which funds that. And if there's events that generate X amount of room nights, then, potential to get some incentive monies is perhaps greater than, some other events that maybe don't have, quite a large an impact and stuff. And I know there's been, even that much more discussion with the CVB to do some additional things, so. Any other thing for Kim? Carrie?
Just if the board would review over this report, it is our intent to provide you this information monthly. If there's different information you would like to see that's not on here, or different items, different format, please let us know, and we can work on refining this in a format you'd like to see every month.
Okay, very good.
I'd also like to report that we have 3 conventions booked and 7 conferences booked for 2007 forward, so.
Okay, very good. Thank you. Item C, we don't need a motion to file that at all or anything, but item C, the Community Mental Health Board appointment.
Mr. Chairman, I would move to appoint Lori Ames to the Community Mental Health Board representing District 7 for the remainder of a 3-year term expiring 3/31/19. But before I get a second on that, I have to know that her letter did come in.
Yes, and that actually went out in an email to everybody.
Okay.
I'd
Made a
I'll
motion
support.
then. Okay.
All in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Moving on, item D, District Court Office renovations.
I move to approve the agreement between Beam Construction for the district court office renovations in the amount not to exceed $18,848.
Support.
Discussion. Roll call.
Commissioner McConnell.
Yes.
Commissioner Tamian is absent. Commissioner Heidemann is absent. Commissioner Rushing.
Yes.
Commissioner Dunn.
Yes.
Commissioner Greatop.
Yes.
Chairperson Bone.
Yes.
Motion carried.
Item E, the 2017 traffic enforcement grant application.
This time, I'd like to move to approve the fiscal year 2017 Traffic Enforcement Program Grant application in the amount of $72,432.
Support.
Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Those opposed. Item F, the 2017 underage drinking grant.
Mr. Chairman, I'd move to approve the fiscal year 2017 underage drinking enforcement program grant in the amount of $14,991.
Support.
Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed. Item G, the 2017 day reporting supervision agreement.
Chairman Bohm, I move to approve the fiscal year 2017 day reporting supervision agreement with the Huron House in the amount of $25,000.
Support.
Discussion. Roll call.
Commissioner McConnell,
Yes.
Commissioner Greatop,
Yes.
Commissioner Dunn,
Yes.
Commissioner Rushing,
Yes.
Commissioner Heidemann is absent, Commissioner Tamian is absent, Chairperson Bone,
Yes.
motion carried.
Item I, the Greenleaf compaction agreement for the intervention center.
You got H first. Chairperson.
Oh, I'm sorry. Back to H, 2017 residential substance abuse treatment contract.
This time, I'd like to move to approve the fiscal year 2017 Residential Cognitive Substance Abuse Treatment Agreement with Catholic Charities of Southeast Michigan in the amount of $250,000.
Support.
Discussion. Roll call.
Commissioner Greatop,
Yes.
Commissioner Dunn,
Yes.
Commissioner Rushing,
Yes.
Commissioner Heidemann is absent, Commissioner Tamian is absent, Commissioner McConnell,
Yes.
Chairperson Bone,
Yes.
motion carried.
Item I, the Greenleaf compaction agreement for the intervention center.
Mr. Chairman, at this time, I move to approve the agreement with Greenleaf Compaction for the Intervention Center for a 60-month term in the amount of $13,500.
Support.
Discussion. Roll call.
Commissioner Greatop,
Why, yes.
Commissioner Dunn,
Yes.
Commissioner Rushing,
Yes.
Who seconded that?
Commissioner Heidemann is absent, Commissioner Tamian is absent, Commissioner McConnell,
Yes.
Chairperson Bone,
Yes. Item J, the inmate mental health service agreement with community mental health.
Chairman Bone, I would move to approve the inmate mental health service agreement with Community Mental Health for a term of 10/1/16 through 9/30/16 in the amount of $139,450.91.
Support.
Discussion. Roll call.
Commissioner McConnell,
Yes.
Commissioner Tamian is absent, Commissioner Heidemann is absent, Commissioner Rushing,
Yes.
Commissioner Dunn,
Yes.
Commissioner Greatop,
Yes.
Chairperson Bone,
Yes.
motion carried.
Item K, the Motorola Solutions renewal.
Mr. Chairman, at this time, I move to approve the Motorola Solutions Maintenance Agreement for a term of 9/1/16 through 8/31/17 in the amount of $26,540.40.
Support.
Discussion. Roll call.
Commissioner Greatop,
Why, yes.
Commissioner Dunn,
Yes.
Commissioner Rushing,
Yes.
Commissioner Heidemann is absent, Commissioner Tamian is absent, Commissioner McConnell,
Yes.
Commissioner Bone,
Yes.
motion carried.
Item L, the secondary road patrol grant application.
Mr. Chairman, I'd move to approve the secondary road patrol grant application for fiscal year 2017 in the amount of $151,497.
Support.
Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed. Item M, the Blue Water Riverwalk Coastal Wetland Coastal Zone Management Grant for Boardwalk.
This time, I'd like to move to approve the Coastal Zone Management Grant Agreement for the construction of the interpretive boardwalk in the amount of $100,000.
Support.
Any, Bill?
Just wanted to mention again, I think maybe Commissioner Heidemann mentioned it last time, that their grant they increased their grant from 50,000 to 100,000 on this piece, so that was a nice gift on their part to keep this thing moving forward, so kudos to them.
Anybody else? Roll call.
Commissioner McConnell?
Yes.
Commissioner Tamian is absent. Commissioner Heidemann is absent. Commissioner Rushing?
Yes.
Commissioner Dunn?
Yes.
Commissioner Greatop?
Yes.
Chairperson Bone?
Yes. Item N, the landfill materials procurement with Burgess Contracting.
I move to approve the procurement contract with Burgess Contracting Company for landfill materials for a term of 11/1/16 through 10/31/17 in the amount of $230,250.
Support.
Discussion. Roll call.
Commissioner Greatop?
Yes.
Commissioner Dunn?
Yes.
Commissioner Rushing?
Yes.
Commissioner Heidemann is absent. Commissioner Tamian is absent. Commissioner McConnell?
Yes.
Chairperson Bone?
Yes.
Motion carried.
Item O, the landfill materials procurement with Steve Hyde Trucking.
Mr. Chairman, I would move to approve the procurement contract with Steve Hyde Trucking for landfill materials for a term of 11/1/16 through 10/31/17 in the amount of $43,450.
Support?
Discussion. Roll call.
Commissioner Greatop?
Yes.
Commissioner Dunn?
Yes.
Commissioner Rushing?
Yes.
Commissioner Heidemann is absent. Commissioner Tamian is absent. Commissioner McConnell?
Yes.
Chairperson Bone?
Yes.
Motion carried.
Item P, the Affordable Care Act reporting agreement.
Mr. Chairman, I would move to approve the agreement with Health Decisions for Affordable Care Act reporting services for 2016 through 2018 in the amount of $27,125.
Support.
Discussion.
Yeah, can we repeal and replace? Just kidding.
Roll call.
Go ahead, touch that one.
Commissioner McConnell?
Yes.
Commissioner Tamian is absent. Commissioner Heidemann is absent. Commissioner Rushing?
Yes.
Commissioner Dunn?
Yes.
Commissioner Greatop?
Yes.
Chairperson Bone?
Yes.
Motion carried.
Item Q, the City of Port Huron, the Local Development Finance Authority appointment.
Mr. Chairman, I would like to appoint Carrie Hepting, Administrator Controller, to the City of Port Huron Local Development Finance Authority Board.
Support.
Discussion. Roll call. I'm sorry, all in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed. Item R, Resolution 16-26, authorizing the limited tax refunding bonds to the communication system.
At this time, I'd like to move to adopt Resolution 16-26, authorizing the 2016 general obligation limited tax refunding bonds for the 2009 communication systems bonds.
Support.
Discussion. Roll call.
Commissioner McConnell?
Yes.
Commissioner Greatop?
Yes.
Commissioner Dunn?
Yes.
Commissioner Rushing?
Yes.
Commissioner Tamian is absent. Commissioner Heidemann is absent. Chairperson Bone?
Yes.
Motion carried.
Item S, Resolution 16-28, imposing property tax levy.
Chairman Bone, I would move to adopt Resolution 16.28, imposing 2016 property tax levy.
Support.
Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Those opposed. Item T, the Resolution 16-27, portioning taxes for 2016.
Mr. Chairman, at this time, I would move to adopt Resolution 16-27, apportioning taxes for 2016.
Support.
Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Those opposed. Item U, the Commission on Aging appointment.
This time, I'd like to move to appoint Diane Cooper to the Commission on Aging, representing District 3 for the remainder of a 3-year term expiring 12/31/2017.
Support.
Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Those opposed. Item V, 2017 Residential Substance Abuse Treatment Grant Agreement.
I move to approve the fiscal year 2017 residential substance abuse treatment grant agreement in the amount of $99,461.
Support?
Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Those opposed. 2017 Administrator Controller Proposed Budget. Ms. Hefting.
At your places this evening is the proposed 2017 general fund budget. I have to say, this is the first budget I've had the pleasure of working on that I did not have to make cuts. This represents a status quo budget. No departments had any line items cut, and it represents a increase in property taxes of about 2%. We're starting to see our taxes consistently go up each year, which is helping. Another item that's helped with budgeting this year was our Blue Cross healthcare renewal came in at less than 2%, just under 2% increase in our healthcare costs. So that was a pleasant surprise from our initial estimates. So several items like that helped make the budget balance without any cuts.
I just want to make a comment on that Blue Cross because I know a lot of people might see this or attend. It's, you know, hey, mine's going up 15%, so on and so forth, because we're self-funded, correct? So our claims were not, so.
Correct.
We're not buying a Blue Cross and Blue Shield premium. We're paying out of pocket out to X amount. So our increases weren't as significant versus if you went to the market and got that. So I just wanted to.
Our rates are based on the county's actual claims and our trend history.
The budget, this is the first actually, obviously you gave it to us tonight. Process on this, timeframes, that kind of stuff was.
At this point, we are scheduled to have a public hearing at your committee meeting in November. The board could choose to adopt it that night or at any meeting following up until your December meeting. We weren't sure on the scheduling of the full board meeting in November just yet. That's why we put the public hearing on for November committee, so we could meet the publication requirements and posting.
So if any commissioners have any questions for Carrie, you know, whatever, you get them back to her. This is the first chance we got to take a look at it. Once again, I give you a lot of credit. I've told the story, none of you around in the good old days when we wanted to kill each other. We'd have meetings on this budget thing, and it was like not a lot of fun. So between, you know, Kaufman with our previous administration, Carrie, I can say this, my phone hasn't rang once, so keep up the good work.
Yeah.
Well, at this time, then, I'd like to move to receive the 2017 Administrator Controller Proposed Budget.
Support.
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed. Moving on to item X, the county representative appointment for the survey and remonumentation program.
Chairman Bohm, I'd move to appoint Charles Kolb as the alternative county representative for the survey and remonumentation program until such a time a surveyor is duly appointed.
Support.
Bill?
I talked with somebody else who may have been interested in this position, but in talking to administration today, I find that it's probably not going to be possible. This appointment is for a very short period of time, and you have to be on the ballot to run and be ready to go for taking office January 1st of this coming year. You cannot get on the ballot at this particular point. It's too late, and so the only person on that ballot is Charles Kolb. And therefore, the other individual who may have been interested, I'll contact them and let them know that they are interested in doing that in another, is it 4-year term or 2?
I believe it's a 4-year term.
Okay, so I'll let them know that 4 years down the road if they are interested, but it's, have I got all my information correct there, administration?
Yes.
Okay, all right, thank you.
Okay. We have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Moving on to item Y, which would be the landfill leachate pretreatment scaling.
Mr.
program.
Chairman, at this time, I move to approve the agreement with Fishbeck, Thompson, Carr, and Huber Incorporated for engineering services for the leachate pretreatment scaling project in the amount of $16,300.
Support.
Discussion? Roll call?
Commissioner Greatham.
Yes.
Commissioner Dunn.
Yes.
Commissioner Rushing.
Yes.
Commissioner Heidemann and Tamian are absent. Commissioner McConnell?
Yes.
Chairperson Bone?
Yes.
Motion carried.
Item Z, the BOC meeting schedule. You guys got a copy of that? I think really the discussion came down to November 17th, right? Just, it says we do have a quorum. I know it's deer hunting season for some, so I know we might be a commissioner too light, but we're going to keep that on the 17th. It was already scheduled for that, correct? Or do we have to adopt the schedule?
It was scheduled for the 17th.
Yeah.
This really doesn't represent a change then, does it?
We're just
We
adding
are
one more.
adding the park and BOC joint meeting.
Okay.
5 o'clock park meeting beforehand on November 3rd, so.
Chairman Bowman, I would make a motion to add the joint park Board of Commissioners meeting on November 5th at 5 o'clock prior to our regular scheduled meeting.
November 3rd.
November 3rd.
November 3rd, just like it says right there. It's smaller than,
I'll support.
All in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Administrators report.
Just a couple things. Administration is currently working with Tetra Tech to expand the parking at the convention center. As you might recall, when Baker College purchased a portion of our green space, part of that agreement included them adding additional parking spaces or replacement spaces for the county. So we are having the designs and drawing work done up on that, and it's probably too aggressive to have it completed this year, but if weather holds out, we certainly would like to. We are also having the specs drawn to cost out paving the full green space that is there, which would add approximately between what Baker will be adding and the rest, about 70 parking spaces in that green area right next to the Baker dorms. We received notice, or the landfill has received notice recently, that our yard waste initiative is still being discussed at the state level, and they are interested in partnering with us under our RDDP permit to allow yard waste to come into our landfill. There are some technical specifications and requirements that need to be worked out to see if it's something we can do and if it would be economically feasible for us to do it. Some of their initial requirements could prove to be troublesome. However, they appear to be open to any suggestions and alternatives in order to go forward with this process. So our landfill director, Matt Williams, and CTI are also working on coming up with a plan and submitting that to the state for their approval for this to go forward.
Okay.
That's all this evening.
Any questions for Carrie at all? Do I have a motion for the administrator's report?
Make a motion that we receive and file administrator's report.
support?
All in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Miscellaneous business. Any miscellaneous business come before us? 14, motion to receive and file.
This time, I'd like to move to receive and file packets that were sent to commissioners, packets at their places, and any other information presented.
Support.
Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
We are going to go to closed session, and then we are going to recess right after that. Do I have a motion and a second?
I'll make that motion.
I'll support.
In discussion, all in favor?
Aye.
We are adjourned.